Thank you. Initially, I'd like to thank Sanjeev for giving me the time to share some thoughts for you. And as in the previous session, the chairperson said there is cardiologist driven exercise. So I'm sorry, you'll have to put up with some more cardiologist driven exercise. And this is one cardiologist driven exercise which nephrologist forces us to do. Liver biopsy is very easy to do. Kidney, we always like to be very careful whenever doing transjugular kidney biopsy. So last 1 year, Gaurav has compiled all the cases. This is a patient who has gone valve surgery and he needs a kidney biopsy. And as you know, with the prosthetic valves, patient has to be on anticoagulants. And while the patient is on anticoagulant, percutaneous biopsy is dangerous. Gaurav has kindly made the pictorial slides because I believe the audience was very keen. It is almost always done through the right jugular, because the biopsy needles available now will go only from the right jugular. The others, I believe, are not available. At least in Delhi, it's very difficult to gain. The biggest problem here is you have to make sure that you are in the venous system. You are not puncturing the carotid artery. That is the number one biggest problem. So you just anesthetize. What I use, I don't like using the ultrasound. I find it waste of time. So what I like to use, I use pediatric puncture needle, pediatric micro puncture needle. So this is a pediatric micro puncture needle, which is like a green needle. So even if we do a lot of liver work, we have a very world's busiest liver unit with us. Just last week did a case, you hardly have a patient whose platelet count is more than 25. And you hardly have a patient whose INR is less than 3. So in that milieu, we operate in patients whose INRs are high with very low. Last week we had to do a patient whose platelet was 9,000. So we are used to this. So we have found that ultrasound is absolute waste. So I'd like you to see again, it's a pediatric micropuncture needle. That's our access choice. So whenever you have punctured it, make sure that you are looking where the guide wire is going. So make sure, if you have seen the guide wire going into the IVC, you know you are in the venous system. Because whenever you are doing kidney biopsy, you have to make sure that you don't end up using more than 2 ml of contrast. That's another guideline we normally use, that we will not use more than 2 ml of contrast. So make sure the guide wire has gone into the IVC. If it has not, the pediatric puncture needle comes with a very fine dilator. Put the dilator, just with half ml of contrast, you will know whether you are in the vein or you are in the carotid. And then you obviously, this is the pediatric micropuncture sheath which has gone in. It is the full sheath. The dilator is very fine and you just insert it. Never start with a standard sheath, never ever. Always, that's my principle, always start with pediatric micropuncture. Then jump to the standard guide wire. And as we have seen that it has gone into the IVC, so we know we are in the vein. And then this is the standard 9 French sheath. This is how the systems come. There is that curve that will guide your wire into the renal vein, and this is the sheath. It has a stainless steel. It is supported with a stainless steel. That's the sheath through which the biopsy needle will go. So as I showed you that there is a specific curve comes and that will take you into the renal vein. And this is just 1 ml of contrast injection. You just dilute it and 1 ml of contrast injection. The nephrogram tells you, because in this field you have also, either you will be in the renal vein, sometimes you end up in the hepatic vein and you may be biopsying the liver instead of, so you have to know whether you are biopsying the liver or kidney. So with 1 ml of contrast, you know you will be in kidney. This is the standard stainless steel sheath which goes on the wire. Then this is the sheath, you have confirmed it. Then you press it and with the feel you know you are hitting against the medulla. This is the biopsy needle which I had shown just. And then you just do the biopsy. And normally our colleagues like 2 sets of biopsy, one they want to send to in the saline and one in the formalin. So we do 2 sets of biopsy. This is the second, and then you just remove the tissue into the once in the saline and other one in the formalin. This is another patient who was told to have on the Doppler that very senior person that he has totally occluded renal vein on one side and other side renal vein is patent. So we were supposed to do the opposite, the side where the renal vein was patent, to do the biopsy, and the same technique as we just showed you, the same things. And when we entered, we found that even the other renal vein is totally occluded. So first we had to open this renal vein, and then the step is same. So we had to do the angioplasty. I like to stop here. I have done so far only 4 renal vein angioplasty, but believe me, it's very rewarding. So whenever you find any such patient, refer him to whoever you do and tell him it's very easy to do and very rewarding. I have had only 4 patients so far, and then we do this biopsy. The left renal vein which was totally occluded, we just did the angioplasty of this renal vein also, so that patient should have benefit of that. This is the third patient who had the liver and kidney biopsy. So summarize, we had done last 1 year 6 patients where we needed to do the kidney biopsy. 3 of them were primarily kidney disease and 3 who had liver disease and needed a combined biopsy of liver and kidney both. Thank you. Any question you have on this?
Thank you very much, Dr. Roy, for this short and sweet presentation. Any comments from Dr. Gaurav Sagar? If he's